Okay, I took two trades today, ended up being break even. Obviously stinks that I had to take the first loss because the second trade was just so nice, and really an A plus setup. I'm gonna go over this first trade here and the second one, but I really want to dive into the first one that I lost and just see if there was any way to avoid it. Um, I didn't want to miss a setup, and that's not for, I really don't believe that's FOMO. It's more my model appeared, there was a reason for entry, and I entered, and I know like right off the bat there's one thing that could have stopped me from entering this trade, and it was just very early on in the morning. It was like 2 minutes after market open that I entered this trade. And there's definitely something to be said about that. Not entering too early into the session. But really, I mean, my model appeared. It was a decent inverse. Obviously we ended up trending that direction, so I had the bias right. Um, yeah, let's go over this. So the daily time frame are clearly bullish at this point. So there's really not much to show there. I marked up previous daily low. We had already taken previous daily high. I marked up this high because that was, in my opinion, the clear next POI on the daily time frame. Then on the 4 hour, I wanted to see us tap into this 4 hour unfilled fair value gap. We had this one here that I also marked as well, but that was too far. Like, I didn't think we were going to trade all the way towards there. We didn't need to, and I was correct. Uh, Now, if you go to the hourly, we also had an unfilled 1 hour. So this was lining up very, very nicely for a continuation. And the trend was obviously bullish. So everything was lining up really nicely here. That's what made the second trade really an A plus setup. I'll go over why the first trade wasn't A plus, but still was valid for me to enter on. I feel like, so it just stinks that it's a break even day on a day where there was an A plus setup. But I don't know how I could have avoided the first one. It's really hard. But yeah, obviously a sweep of liquidity, and we got that immediately upon market open. Uh, we'll just go to the 1 minute immediate sweep. Okay, and you could say to yourself, oh well, it's that was the 9:30 candle that swept liquidity. You're entering off of the 9:32 candle once we inverse the 1 minute there. Like we definitely should enter deeper into this 4 hour. Why do we have to enter deeper? We tapped it. We swept liquidity with this candle. Um, why would we have to go any lower? So I mean that's not a valid reason in my opinion. Um, So again, in my opinion, the only way I could have avoided this trade is if I just decided, it's too early into the session. I'm entering off of the 9:32 candle. Let's just cool it. The problem is, man, I had everything I needed. Like I said, we had a sweep. We had the 4 hour getting tapped and a nice reaction off the 4 hour. And then we got that immediate inverse on the 1 minute. And yes, you can argue that if this was my break even, I should not have been entering here. However, I used some discretion here. This was not my break even point. Okay. The reason being, look at all this internal liquidity, like low resistance trend line liquidity here that we had to come for, and we eventually did. Okay. So that was my reasoning. I used some discretion there. Okay. Obviously, the discretion fucked me over this time. Uh, had I just used my set in stone black and white rules, I would have said, okay, fine, we hit my break even point, or even argued, okay, we came this high, like that. You can make an argument for this high, I guess, is break even if you're not going to say this high. I won't enter, and then it would have saved me today. But I'm trying to use some discretion because at the end of the day, there's a lot of times where I would break even here, and you see all this liquidity, and it needs to get taken. Like I was pretty confident in the draw at this point, so yeah, did end up taking a loss there. Um, was targeting, like I said, this high that we had marked out on the daily time frame. So that was the first trade. Okay, the second trade. was a really nice A+ setup. You know, I was hoping that we did get a chance to re-enter after that loss because I was very confident in the draw. So it really would have sucked had we not been given the opportunity to re-enter. Um, but I entered with a market order at around this price. Let's see exactly the price. Um, was this it? I don't 932. No, this one. How do I? So this is my first time working with Tradeovate on TradingView, so I'm trying to like see. I'm used to Top Step, but I'm switching over to Lucid Trading. So um, sell for no. Um, I don't know how. What was this entry? 945, 950. So buy four, and it doesn't tell you. Oh, buy four. 25 982. That's crazy how hard it is to find this. 25 98275. Oh, okay, perfect. I literally had it. Perfect. Okay. Um, this was the entry market order. Obviously, the limit would not have been filled, so happy that I entered with a market order. We pumped immediately, so that was great. No drawdown at all. Literally no drawdown. Um, and it was a 5-minute inversion, okay? And I was very confident in the draw. I did break even here, but I was confident that the rest would get taken, and it did. Um, and that was the setup. I don't know what to say. Like, obviously, I wish I didn't take the first one in hindsight, but like, I'm trying to give myself valid reasons why I shouldn't have. I used some discretion, I did, and I'm trying to use more of it. And I hope I like. Um, I need to. I need to start using some discretion. I've been too black and white for too long, and it helps in the beginning, but I really think that it'll benefit me in the long run if I start using some discretion. Today, obviously, it was not to my benefit, but I used discretion. I would not have been in this trade if I didn't, because I would have just said, okay, I hit the first high, I'm break even, that's it. I'm not going to enter anymore. But I used discretion because we had so much low resistance liquidity above. And I thought that we could just pump because we had taken the 4 hour. It might just be a quick pump. Uh, wasn't the case, and I don't really know if it sucks. I wish there was an easier answer. Oh yes, this is I should not have entered here because this, and I'll never do it again. But there's really not a clear cut and dry answer as to why I should not have entered there. Um, you know, I don't know. Like I don't know. If I'm going to continue to use discretion, there's going to be trades like that, and I just have to face that fact. And hopefully there will be trades where it goes in my favor when I use discretion. I think it's important to use more discretion, so I'm going to continue to do that. That doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect my rules or my trading plan. Um, like today, you can argue, oh, he disrespected his rules because his rules would have dictated that he wouldn't have entered here. He he wouldn't have entered off of this candle here because we had already swept his break even point this high here. Um, I'm not suggesting that type of rule break. I'm suggesting like I'm just entering off of some bullshit because I think it could play out. Like my model was here. I had everything I needed. The one discretionary thing I did was decided to still enter because there was a reason. Like we had a lot of liquidity above. So that's all. Second trade was beautiful. Beautiful trade. Beautiful setup. Hopefully we can see more like this in the future. I mean, this is really, I mean, textbook, textbook, textbook. If you didn't take this, um, I don't know. The only reason you wouldn't have been in this trade, I guess, is if you were looking for a limit fill and just got fucked over. I don't know. But this was perfect, perfect, perfect. So happy with this setup. Obviously, wish that I didn't take the first one, but it is what it is. yeah, I'm trading only on the Lucid accounts now. I do have that funded account for Top Step still, so I will be trading that as soon as I receive the payout from that one. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I might have to request the payout again. I don't know. But yeah,